Good evening, SpeedGaming, and welcome to the Links Past Randomizer League. We've got a match in the Invitational League day between Don't Forget to Track Us, between the Bomb Squad and Don't Forget to Track Us. The Bomb Squad is on our left today with Fred Coughlin, and Don't Forget to Track Us has PRD Wong. My name is Zeke Highwind, and we're playing Cross Keys. We're going to take just a minute to get started, but for those who don't know, Cross Keys is our entrance rando week. All the entrances are randomized, and the connectors can go between the light world and the dark world, so we may see some super money shenanigans today. I agree, chat. I also love Cross Keys. And if this timer is accurate, Fred Coughlin is going to be starting here, so we should be getting started in 1, and we're off. And we have a divergence already. We have one runner at Link's house getting the Misery Mire Big Key, and one runner in Sanctuary. Sanctuary appears to be at the Lumberjack tree today. And PRD Wong went to the east toward the north shore of the lake. And Fred Coughlin is picking up some enemy kills. Might want to be checking a tree pole here in the Lost Woods, but finds Desert Palace, Maine. And my tracker today, Akir, is pointing out we have hearts for our Sun Prize today. And PRD Wong showing us a fairly common practice in Cross Keys. We do a early Houlihan, although we just found Laser Bridge at the Witch's Hut. We fake Flipper to the Witch's Hut, check that entrance, and then jump back across for the Houlihan room. And that is half magic. We have a big key to Desert Palace, so once PRD Wong gets to that Desert Palace entrance, can check that big chest. The map. And it looks like we had bombs on our crab from Fred, and bombs, and takes the intentional death to get back off Laser Bridge. Fred deciding not to do a drop down, just in case it's Ganon, and finds Uncle has fallen in a hole in the forest. And gets his prized key to Thieves' Town. And we have Magic Bat. And PRD Wong drops into the Houlihan room, picking up his 225 rupees out of it. And it looks like our Smith lives just north in the village today, right next to the archery game. So if Fred wants a little money at some point, can... Actually, it looks like Fred wants some money right now. and shows that with a little patience, you can get your money from the arrow game, which 100 rupees for auto merchant, that's a very useful thing. But bottle merchant is only a piece of heart today. Those guards are not playing nice for PRD Wong today. Oh, takes an overworld death out front of Hyrule Castle. And Desert Palace North is in the left snitch house today. And according to chat, he stole the Desert Palace key. A little risky play, but when you know where a easy access desert entrance is, it's pretty painless to scum that key check. And Fred finding the single arrow in the back of a tavern. That is the only single arrow in the item pool. It is a unique item from the Palace of Darkness. And Fred Coughlin is going to go through the... this is Old Man Cave, because that was a jump we just saw. Or didn't see, rather. And it looks like the Dark Room connects from the Sick Kid's house to the back of the Old Man Rescue Cave. And pays 20 rupees to the hand, mostly for that heart refill, because you do not want to be on a heart and a half navigating dead rocks and cabbages. And PRD Wong is navigating a different dark room. But I think that is the back of Death Mountain Descent, the mountainside, which is actually in the cave that Fred just left. And Blindside Day has a glove and a flute. So, very useful items, and I believe that's a Kakariko entrance as well. Actually, no, that's a mountain entrance, so those aren't quite in logic. They are blocked by a lamp, but these runners will happily take an early flute and glove. I apologize, I apparently missed a desert connection, so that would be logical access. Thank you to chat for keeping me honest. And PRD Wong finds a big key on the other side of the drop in Spectral Rock Cave. And Purity Wong finds another dark room. As Fred is going to save Scum that small key now. So the ideal thing for Fred here is there's nothing in these checks, as Purity Wong finds Skull Woods. Which just has a map to Ganon's Tower. And that looks like nothing, so Fred Coughlin has opted to reset that key use, and now can use it later when he wants to fight Landmola. Apparently, Fred would rather have the small key than the bow. That's a bit of an interesting decision to some, but perhaps I won't hazard guess as to what could be thought here outside of maybe we have access to the other bow. Or maybe Desert Small Key will show up quickly. And Fred does pick up whatever was in that drop down. I believe it was a bottle. Excuse me, Fred is going to pick up whatever's in the drop down, which I believe is a bottle. Which means that once Fred finds Sick Kid, he can check the item there. At a moment, Purity Wong would have to go back for a bottle or find one of the other three. And that glove lets us check this and just find Spike Cave. That is a cave we don't want to go through at this time, because even if we had the hammer, we don't have a way to get through to the end without an invincibility item. And Fred is getting whatever's here in the back of the well, which I believe puts Ganon. Have we checked the hammer blocked entrance in by the blacksmith location? Well, there's the hammer. And the boots. That is a big find in the well. I am impressed with this well. Which means we can check this boots locked entrance now. It's just a fortune teller, but it's convenient that we can check it now. As Purity Wong is giving us the Super Bunny checks to find another fortune teller in the Spike Cave entrance. And Fred activating the flute. And with both runners following each other's footsteps for just a minute, I'll take one more moment to shout out our tracker again, Akir, who is... I'm always impressed with cross-key solo tracking, because there is a lot of information being thrown around very, very quickly. Oh, I'd missed the castle tower spawn in the well. Just one more thing to have in mind. Because the castle tower small is the... We'd either need the other castle tower small or the Hyrule castle small to get to the back of escape, logically. It's one with Sank at Lumberjack, that back of the castle is very hard to get to. Hookshot Cave at the Smith House today. That's the backside. And that's Ganon, which if I've counted my entrances correctly, I think that leaves the fairy drop-down that's normally a Houlihan entrance. What some consider the Houlihan drop-down to be in the pyramid. So there's nothing blocked by the climb by the look of it. And Paradox Cave has the big key to Ganon's Tower and a blue mail. And Fred unleashed a bee to deal with the Moldorms. And there was a red cane as well, which is a favorite item of mine. And Paradox Cave, the bottom unfortunately spits you out at what we call the Dark World Shopping Mall. So Fred will have to save and quit here again. But does get a chance to check what our old man spawn points are. And Pierre D. Wong will be taking a check here at what we call Paradox Cave. And after checking our entrances at Paradox, Fred has decided, let's check the desert. As Pierre D. Wong gets his Ether Medallion and his red cane, and the Agina's Cave entrance is Fairy Ascension Cave. which leads to Floating Island. And that Ether Medallion is our access to the Turtle Rock entrance, which we do need mitts to be able to get to, as well as a Moon Pearl to be able to use anything. And it sounds like I have been joined by a co-commentator. Welcome.
No way. Good evening, Zeke.
Good evening.
So what I miss?
Well, we have an early boot seed.
Oh, that's great.
We had a glove blocking the entrance to the well because it was at Sanctuary today.
Okay.
And inside were the boots and the hammer. So the big question right now is, where is our Moon Pearl?
It's in the place that they didn't check yet.
Well, there's quite a bit of South Shore still, so... There's also an entire Eastern Palace area. The good news for Fred is there's a Desert Palace Big Key in here, which if he decides to use... to pick that up and not worry about Desert Palace Small Key blocking a bow, Fred save-scummed a bow out of the right side of the desert, opting to reset it.
Interesting choice. I mean, it's a tough decision always when you get that key and you're like, or you don't have that key and you decide to go to the right side and you're like, let's see what we find. And you find something that's actually really nice, but not necessarily unique.
We do have progressive bows in this, so... And Old Man Spawn is right next to the TR Big Chest.
Yeah, that's always a nice entrance to find. And PRD is gonna do the bunny revival there. You know, we still don't have the big key yet for Turtle Rock, but you know, we can check a bit here, especially with this bonk. I love this bonk always for entrance.
It's pretty easy for a bomb jump as well, so... In addition, these checks are not quite in logic, but our runners also disregard lamp logic pretty heavily. But PRD knows that this is just a lamp out of logic because he's also done that laser bridge up at Witch's Hut.
And it looks like we're going to get at least some, we're going to get some pokey fighting.
Oh, this is going to be fun. This is not the best weapon to do this with either.
No, and the hard part here is, okay, so luckily PRD does get away from it, or it does actually use itself, but a bunny beam in a bunny revive state is not always the best scenario to be in. I believe in that case, if you get bunny beamed, you'd be permanently back to a bunny.
That is correct. You would have to do another bunny revive, which is not the fastest thing to do.
Not at all. But nice pokey kills.
Yeah, very nicely done. PRD has to be a little careful here. These chain chomps will eat him very quickly.
Yeah, Fred taking nice advantage of the red rang. But both finishing up there and taking the death.
Almost synchronized deaths. It was beautiful. PRD is going to bonk over this wall and see where the west exit exits. Because depending on where this is, that could all be a logical pickup as well. Outside, you know, the 4 keys blocking. Oh.
That's a really convenient location for that, if I had to be honest. Especially because of that.
Well then, as I was saying, the Ice Palace Big Key is blocked by all 4 Turtle Rock Smalls. But we're not known for following key logic in this mode, are we, Jesse?
I was going to say, when's the last time you fully followed key logic and cross keys? Because I will tell you, I think it's been 0 times for me.
Let's see. Divide by 2, carry 0, add 3. The answer's none. And there's a misery mire up there, too. That's valuable information to have found. And we can do things here with a hammer and a red cane. This is not my favorite. And there's the moon pearl. Not my overall favorite loadout for Mire 2.
I was going to say, how much are you going to try to do in Mire 2 here? Or not Mire 2, but Mire in general. Because technically, we got a Mire big key.
At this equipment loadout, it would be hard-pressed to convince me to go do Vitreous. Dark Vitreous with only a hammer?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for low-percent swordless. That's a little much off for my personal preferences. But yeah, I don't know what PRD Wong's is. Fred finds the flippers as well.
Yeah, that was that Desert Lift rock.
He likes it so little, he threw a second bomb at Agina.
Poor dude. But Fred is going to flute. I was going to say, are we going to get some into Dark World? But no, I guess we still have a ton of Light World now that I think about it. It is that early still.
Yeah, and neither runner has checked the eastern entrance clump. In addition, Fred might be thinking of the Zora's Flippers checks that just opened with that Agina pickup.
Well, if we weren't planning on doing Dark World, we can, or we are now.
Just gotta be careful, because every enemy here hurts.
Yeah, on the plus side, we do have that blue mail already, so most that's doing 1 heart, except for stuff like the Hinox.
Yeah, the Hinox and the Snapdragons will do 2 hearts, and the Dactos, I believe.
I was gonna say, they're called Snapdragons? I wasn't sure.
Well, I'll be honest, I just use names my friends call them and hope I'm saying something accurate.
I mean, I usually call with like a Venus flytrap or something.
Let's see how... The big one is, PRD Wong has not gone to Desert, and there is a Desert entrance right next to your Sank start.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, I think a lot of runners, you hear about Desert Palace, and you're like, how close do you want to go after that? It's definitely one of those sets of entrances you don't enjoy checking so early, unless you can do a lot more.
Fred just picked up the lamp.
On the plus side, when we do find the Thieves' big key, we do have the Thieves' small key, so...
Red mail.
And we are very safe.
So those enemies that we were saying were doing 2 hearts now do 1 heart. And is that a red fire rod there?
That is the red fire rod.
I always have a slightly hard time telling between red and blue on these screens.
Yeah.
And the accents are a little small on those sprites. The one problem of red mail is right here.
Yeah, unfortunate. You hope you have red or find red mail after you find a mirror in this mode.
We've now seen 2 of the 3 entrances of Spectral Rock.
I mean, that's a good feeling, because now especially finding the exit, you're like, okay, even if I find the front or the top one, the other 2, I don't have to drop down now.
Yeah. I don't remember where the other entrance is, but it has a big key, so they will want to find it. Can we just point out how convenient it is that we just got a fire rod?
Yeah. No, this is definitely very convenient. And more health, which makes the red mail more annoying.
I mean, luckily, if you try to Death Warp here, that they do 1 heart of damage, a lot of the everything in here.
Yeah.
Crystal Rollers will do 1 heart, which is the Death Warp we're going to be questioning here, because, and most importantly, Fred remembered to go the correct direction when you don't have a hook shot.
I mean, I'm sure we all have a bad memory.
I don't have a bad memory. I have several. And I'm sure you're the same way. You and I played enough of this game to have several of those. And that is a small key to pod. I think that's our 3rd one.
Yeah, we also got the Bombos medallion, so nice little safeties in a sense, you know, if you're really struggling with some stuff. And Fred did eat some extra damage off those rollers to really set himself up for this death. And I like the idea of just picking up the extra pieces here.
When your best weapon right now is a fire rod or a cane of Samaria. Although actually we have a hammer as well. But fire rod is the I don't want to fight this enemy button. We'll delete it from the map. So it's kind of nice to have a full magic bar to use it.
Yeah, that early half magic really is a nice find. And PRD finding Turtle Rock, but also can't really do much. Fred finding Ice Palace, really considering it.
It's worth mentioning. That's a 100% clearable Ice Palace right there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a small key yet, but once again, who cares kind of deal? Like, this is just a go and do the dungeon.
Samaria strats.
And honestly, like, how many times have you done a cross keys seed where ice had something? It's just such a... I want to say it's a trope of this mode where you're gonna find something here.
I mean, using my own personal thing from recently, this was where my go mode was with my personal race. Okay, if I remember correctly, it takes 2 hammer smashes per Pengator, which isn't that hard to get.
Yeah, nicely done with the hammer.
So one concerning thing here is PRD Wong is picking up his flippers. This could lead him further away from that Moon Pearl.
Now, Fred is going to hit the switch here, even with the big key to Ice Palace. Not totally required, but it can change the routing a little bit to be more convenient. Maybe he's going to use that to make sure to get safety room. I'm not entirely sure.
It could also be not having a key makes it hard to navigate the rest of the dungeon to preserve that key from Ice-T. Alright, and PRD Wong does get that Moon Pearl. I forgot there's a desert entrance right next to the Agina's Cave.
Yeah, and it looks like, the fact that PRD did have boots and the big key is a very nice incentive to head back in here. We get a Ganon's Tower small key out of the spike room.
I believe that's our 2nd of those. And another one where I've made the mistake. Fred has remembered to bomb the floor open to go to the big chest.
Yeah, no hookshot means no great tricks. So the one negative, and this is like nitpicky of all nitpicks about negative aspects of having to route this dungeon, because we hit the switch, we do have to go drop down and then come back up. My preferred way, and this is just me honestly, is I don't hit the switch, I steal this key, get to iced tea and then come back through this room, and then use the small key that I stole here to get into the basement.
As you said, it might be a play to keep the key for that magic refill room to the right as well.
Yeah, given the fact that Fred does not have a sword to use Bombos, you know, having that extra little bit of magic, that might be the play here.
I don't fault him for this decision, because this is a very, even with the red mail, this is a very low percent cold stare fight.
Yeah, I think we're really, it's, okay, can we get a sword here before we got to Cold Stare? You would think out of the 7 chests, maybe we'd find 1 sword, and we just didn't today. Although this is a really smart play from Fred. Not only using the switch hit to maybe hit refill room, but also saying, I can hit the fairy room there.
And have full health. He's not even using the key for the refill room. But I also don't disagree with using it to ensure you're at full health for this fight.
Well, I think Fred's pretty much at full magic anyway, so...
I think there's a slight chance he is at 15 shots and a half for Fire Rod.
Yeah, it could because of the extra use of the Samaria early. Unfortunately, missing that early hammer hit.
Trying for Fire Rod splashes.
Getting a few. Nice splash there. That was a really hard one to hit. And gets down 2 puffs, so nicely done.
And I think this one just needs 2 hammer hits to bring it down.
Good call.
I was trying to count Fire Rod hits, but when they're moving around so much, it's hard to count. And PRD, while we've been focusing on Cold Stare here, has found Hyrule Castle. And
yeah,
I believe
did get a crystal out of Ice Palace, but I didn't see anything else of importance really there besides a key or 2.
Yeah, I did not either. It looks like PRD did not opt to try and potentially save Scum the path to Zelda's cell. With the main reason I'd even consider that in this run is our Sank start is Lumberjack.
Ooh, that is always one of the worst locations, unfortunately, for a Sank. And you said it, but that's a reset.
That is a reset, and that's GT. And Fred is opting with one of my favorite strategies, hold that thought.
Definitely. Hoping maybe to find something else to make this a little bit more convenient.
I think Fred has a message for us.
I appreciate the message.
Where is... Okay, there's the 10 arrows. That was, what, almost 28 digs? We were coming close.
Okay, so obviously, Fred's going to do GT now. How much are you doing a GT? So obviously, right side is quite a bit more in logic. So figure we do Hope, Tile, and Compass. Even probably head all the way to Ice Armos and the big chest. Are you going to try to do some sequence breaks to the left side, though?
Personally, I get the small key after Compass and then take 2 keys to the left side. And using the door as a safety from the tiles, occasionally moving out to avoid the Wallmaster.
Yeah, interesting idea. I haven't seen this one.
PRD has found his way into Skullwoods.
Unfortunately, still no Fire Rod on PRD's side. But yeah, nice little strategy there from Fred.
I'm one who's always just throwing boomerang at the tiles. Does this have enough time to set it up?
Apparently.
Wow. I didn't know you could do it that way and get the magic refill halfway through.
And also got a magic off the Gibdo.
Fred showing us all the cool tech today, isn't he?
Yeah, nice little ideas for something different.
PRD heading up to what we call Dark Lumberjack.
And you might be right. Fred appears to be setting up for a death warp here after getting this small key.
It looks like it's me. There's... Even without the logical access, there's a lot of items over on the left side.
And
There's 10 items... Excuse me, there are 9 items locked by the hookshot over there, as well as a 10th one that is 4 key locked behind map room.
Yeah. So PRD also finding Super Bunny Cave.
Unfortunately, with no hookshot and no mirror, we have to do the vanilla intended path.
Yeah, you sometimes forget that that's actually a thing. Now, okay, so Fred going for what I would say is the harder of the bomb jumps to get to this room.
I would agree.
I personally would prefer the bonk setup to the middle spot, but nicely done on Fred's side.
Yeah. When it's execute first try like that, it's just impressive. And
yeah,
personally, I find it tricky to... Wait, you can bonk there?
Yeah, nice little catch of the corner.
Wow. I find doing bomb jumps without a sword hard just because I tend to spin buffer. And there's the other castle tower key.
I mean, those are obviously the keys I want to see when I know where Aga is. Or when I know that the back of Escape is behind Aga.
Fred hasn't found a castle entrance yet either.
Had PRD?
PRD has, because he's come to the Zelda cell path.
No, sorry. Castle Tower, though.
I don't think we've found Castle Tower yet.
Okay.
We're mostly finding maps and other not as useful items. It's also worth noting, Castle Tower Small is blocked by 4 Ganon's Tower Smalls.
Yeah, and so that is quite far into the logic. But there's Sick Kid.
Giving us a partial refund on our Kiki payment. And
we did get our Tower of Hera small key, so we've got both the small and the big already for that one.
I believe that's also locked by all 4 Ganon's Tower small keys. So just interesting key logic implications here.
Yeah.
So, what weapon do you use to fight Ice Armos here?
The bow that we're about to get out of the big chest. The sword we're about to get out of the big chest.
Excuse me, why is there a bow in the big chest? How did you do that?
I don't know.
I'm not even one to talk about that, am I?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You know, I'm used to people calling out the craziest things. That is kind of the hallmark of my old teammate.
I mean, I'll say, like, honestly, if I hadn't found a bow there, it would probably, like, I'd probably try for hammer strats, and then when I started to get scared, I might have switched to boomerang or Samaria.
I might have thrown all my fire rod ammo at a few of them, and then switched to boomerang myself.
And yeah, as chat's pointing out, the fact that Fred scummed that desert small key is working out. Although we missed it, but Purity found the hook shot.
Oh. I think we are excused for missing it with you pulling off that call. But so
I hear in chat saying it was in the back of Saha.
Okay. And that was in one of the the pod area entrances. And Fred's going to be able to check everything in the Skullwoods area here.
Yeah, that's a nice convenience factor at this point, just having that fire rod.
He just found the big key in Ice Armos as well.
Yeah. And luckily, like, one of the best things about, and, you know, I think this is questionable for some people, but I love it, is knowing that you're always going to get a small key in Skull.
I did miss it earlier, but I remember that the other side of this comes out in this vanilla entrance, which means we have what I like to refer to as softlock woods.
Yeah, that's unfortunate always. But with the Flute, at least, and real Dark World access, it's not the worst case scenario. It's not one of those times where you're like, oh, I
Those
have
were
to
mid
take
to
the worst.
catfish.
Oh man, we have a lot of mobility now.
We have everything we could possibly want early, except a sword. And now the other part of Skullwoods with a back locked by itself, we have to play what I like to call drop-down roulette and hope we don't get pinball.
Yeah, that's the worst one, just because you don't want to have to waste a key unnecessarily.
Especially with Skullwoods back being known. Fortunately, that is a vanilla drop-down.
And yes, technically there is a way where you drop into the back of Skull. Or like you go like out this door here that puts you in the back area of Skullwoods. And the drop down there does put you into the connector to get you out of the soft lock, but it is far from guaranteed. It is more often than not that you will not have a good drop down to get back to the front.
In this case, it is known we don't have that drop down today.
Yeah.
Because that was the first drop down Fred found. Meanwhile, we have Purity Wong going through a connector that puts us on Eastern Death Mountain. Which is a nice convenience, especially where it puts us in the Mitts blocked entrance, which we just found the Mitts. So it's nice convenience.
Yeah.
And we have the chess game. This is the real question. What's back here?
Yeah, this is a huge one because at this point it's kind of isolated for PRD. And it's only $50, so not too bad.
And like I said, we call softlock woods for a reason, and that is we have no way out without saving quitting.
And Fred heading right back to Dark World. Gonna continue checking entrances off.
Conveniently, we just got spit out at Dark Shopping Mall.
Yeah, and, you know, we have ways to get there, but as always, Dark Shopping Mall is a terrible set of entrances to get back to.
Luckily, the right entrance is a connector that I believe went to Kakariko. I'll admit, I didn't have an entrance tracker going because I needed to focus on the commentary.
Fair enough, and I'm playing from behind on this entrance tracking, so... And this is always a good little, I don't want to say it's a glitch, but, you know, a lesser-known piece of tech is going backwards through Bumper Cave.
And that's Desert Right, which is nice to find, because now it's out of the entrance pool. So we have a bunch of keys we're going to need, at least. Other than that, we need to know whether we need to do Turtle Rock, and we need some swords.
Yeah, shaping up pretty nicely on the items for only 50 minutes in, to be honest. Or at least from our vantage point. Maybe not to them.
Yeah, our combined vantage point of 2 runners. We have a lot of items found on both sides. And there's Eastern. This is an interesting one, and a lot of runners are split on whether you go in with nothing or wait till you find the big key.
Yeah, this is probably the most contentious dungeon dive in all of Cross Keys at this point. Are you in the camp of always dive or never dive Eastern?
Personally, I base it solely on my inventory at the time.
That's a good way to think about it. Very, very moderate approach there, Zeke.
And where it is. If it's super early, I will likely skip it when I have nothing, because it's easy enough to come back to check. But if this were, say, I don't know, Mimic Cave, I'd be more apt to clear it the first time without the ability to full clear it.
Yeah, and that's a fair assessment. I think a lot of people kind of understand that. But there is a very sizable contingent in this community who will tell you that no matter what, you just don't go. Unless you have everything to clear it.
Or it's your last location.
Or that.
We don't like to talk about that.
Last locations should hopefully never happen.
I thought we'd seen... Somebody has the Eastern Palace Big Key. I think it's Fred. Because I think it was in one of the dungeons he's done.
I will have to check.
Also, we have somebody saying that the best Eastern Palace is at GT. Which I'll agree, that means you don't have to do it. Well, here's Castle Tower, and while we have both keys, we cannot clear this dungeon.
I'm going to say it. We're going to get a sword.
If you pulled off twice, that's an ice rod.
I'm glad I'm wrong, but damn, that's a good find.
That is a pretty dang good find. And now for a Death Warp that isn't affected by red mail. These sword guards do half a heart of damage.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about the guards of Hyrule Castle. Or even Hyrule, actually. All Hyrule guards are always at that half heart damage.
And PRD gets to check what's here in the Hammer House, which is nothing, but... Are both of our runners clearing Vu side by side?
It looks like it. So yeah, the reason we need that sword is not for any of the enemies, it's just those pesky curtains.
Did you know that the curtains in Castle Tower are so strong they can only be cut by a sword? You can't even light them on fire.
I mean, why didn't you use that material for the Skull Woods entrance?
Because obviously I knew I needed to be able to get in, so I needed something to open it. They made it impervious to everything else.
So Fred is into Eastern Palace while PRD is in Agate Tower. Now PRD does not have any fire sources yet, so no way to really see what's going on in this room. Does get the 10 arrows though.
And as Chaz pointed out, there's a little letter P on the top left corner of Fred's screen right now.
Yeah, so we know that is definitely a pendant. This is a newer piece of the devs put this in for key sanity modes in particular. I believe it's also there for all the non-key sanity modes, but it's the most convenient here. If you have the map for key sanity modes, it will tell you what kind of dungeon it is.
Here's one check that PRD gets to make that Fred can't at this point, and that is check hammer pegs. Unfortunately, with no sword, despite us having boots, we don't get the hammer dash.
And it is Ice Rod Cave, so this is an item that Fred's not going to be able to check. But it's just bombs.
From a racing standpoint, Fred's okay missing those. Knowing Fred, he'd be happy to see those. He does love his bombs.
So it does look like Fred does not have the Eastern Big Key, also skipping that big chest for the moment.
Huh, I must have misread a different key. Ooh, PRD found GT but does not have the fire rod.
Or the lamp, so... But does have the hook shot, so we will get to at least see the checks from the other side.
With 2 keys, when you're looking at it from a going left first standpoint. Do you skip map chest? Because I believe with only 2 keys, even with the key under spots, you might still have a key left. It's been a little while since I've done a 2-key GT.
So you'll get the first pot and the second pot for 4 total keys, and all of left side I think is just 3.
Okay, so you will have a key left.
Yeah. And then technically you can even out on the right side by only spending the one you have left on that door, and then picking up the pot after compass room. So you would still have 1 for the climb, and just have to get the mini helmet key. So I think in this case you definitely will pull everything.
Can I point out that Fred tried to hammer the Moblin and instead hammered the spear out of the air?
Gaming.
Also, welcome to SpeedGaming. We're playing cross keys here.
I mean, we've been playing cross keys all week, haven't we?
Yes, I think they are coming straight out of the cross keys race as well. Because I believe that was the Magliacci match that was being restreamed on SpeedGaming.
Why does that feel like it was really quick? Because I thought that one started like only an hour before us.
2 hours before us.
Oh, was it that much? Okay.
Yeah. And luckily, Fred is going to be able to cross the river and go to Catfish, which will give him the Titan's Mitts.
Yeah, we'll see when Fred does get those other checks, though, because we also had found that hook shot, so...
They're not hard to get to for Fred. He does have the flute and traditional Dark World access for pod area. The one thing I forgot to check is, did PRD ask Saha?
So I did notice in chat that at least somebody said Saha said Eastern was our green pendant.
Interesting. At least it's not vanilla boots behind that. And according to chat, we did have another late sword seed from SpeedGaming 1, so maybe that's a trend for today.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've definitely had some rough cross keys this week. If you really enjoy this mode, and, I know a lot of the runners in League really do, this has been kind of the week of the hard cross keys seeds. Even some of our most experienced runners in this mode have really gotten the The short end of the stick.
I know cross key's a favorite mode of yours, and it's a favorite mode of mine. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people who like this mode. PRD does get the simple fight with Ice Armos because it's already over. Silver arrows are very nice.
Yes, they are. Question is, will the Desert Palace Small be just as nice?
Yeah. I think the first question is, do we need it?
True. That is definitely a big question.
It could be the pendant. I expect it to be a crystal at this point, because that's how I am when I get something nice out of right side.
Yeah, and that's always an unfortunate kind of question you have to look at. So it's interesting, you know, Fred lacking the hook shot his first trip into GT, so wasn't going to do the climb. PRD has the opposite problem of no fire source for the climb, so we're not getting that full clear of, oh my gosh, and poor Saha getting all the bombs today.
Fred bombs everybody.
Apparently. What do you have to do to, like, not be on his bad side?
Give him a sword would be a good start.
I mean, you need a green pen to actually talk to the guy, so...
The other question, I think, is... Do you want to do the GT climb with no sword with this loadout? It's not the hardest, but do you really want to?
I mean, I've got at least a melee weapon. And I've got a hook shot and a boomerang, so... I've had worse equipment.
And if you're PRD right now, you have silver arrows. Hey, look! Sick Kid also gets bombed. PRD is showing some good use of the hookshot to speed up your movement as well.
And as Brewers fan JP points out, there is a reason they are called the Bomb Squad.
Yeah, there is. And Fred taking the hookshot he just found and going directly to Hookshot Cave, which will be more connector information as well.
Yeah, getting the rest of these items is a huge incentive. I don't think this connector was at all that important, but it is a nice find of items. Dense play.
4 items, sometimes useful, such as another Ice Palace key that we've already finished Dungeon 2.
And I think we actually saw this on PRD's side.
I think so, because he has 2 Ice Palace keys listed. I think we were just focused on Fred at the time. That's a good connector to know about.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's how we got to the mountain.
Not that we have much trouble getting anywhere on this seed.
There's only one place we can't get at the moment.
And that's the top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Because we can get to the Mire area. I forgot that both fire sources were in Thieves Town.
Yeah, kind of a little understated fire. I gotta wonder, do you ever worry, like, using bombs in this fashion that you're gonna run out of bombs?
As someone who does this, no.
Okay.
If I'm going to be completely honest, no. I don't. This has only bitten me once before by running out of bombs. And as someone who, a regular from Fred's chats pointing out, he doesn't do it when he's low on bombs. Like, oftentimes if he's at full bombs, I know he'll bomb every check in Rando Room, but with his bomb count, he didn't.
We are getting the Ice Palace entrance now on PRD's screen.
Oh, look, Hyrule Castle.
And, I mean, bush crabs are apparently really nice in this seed. They give us more bombs.
It's worth noting, PRD knows nothing is in the basement. He's getting his key.
Yeah. Good point.
Which means he can go all the way to the back and skip the Aga block.
Yeah, that or the Hyrule Castle small key, which is another one we just don't know where it might show up, if it'll show up.
I don't know if we even track that on this tracker.
No, we do not.
There's the floodgate. I've been wondering where we found that. Well, the floodgate itself doesn't block anything important. There is a free blue goo there, so Fred will probably pick that up just to have it.
Yeah, and with Flute, this is just so convenient to get back to. And that Mire area you'd mentioned? Oh, we're not getting it.
We're getting the Desert Palace entrance first.
Yeah, I do like this use of the book.
Unfortunately, the key rat got blocked by another key rat friend. My words don't work very well sometimes.
Neither do the rats helping us.
And there is Hotel Mario.
That means the race is over, right?
Unfortunately, it's not. The only thing we found was the Quake Medallion.
And a TR small.
Normally, I just consider that stuff, but
I know, it's not a big deal in Cross Keys. Turtle Rock is such a great dungeon in Cross Keys.
we're already at 10 items obtained on Fred's side, which means the other X are just blocked by the other key. The big one.
Yeah.
Bomb Shop. Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
Interesting. We do know where both those dungeons are.
For both runners, that's a clearable Mire as well.
Yeah, and still swordless for that kind of kill. So the question becomes, you know, how do you feel about your current equipment for that?
Well, if I'm PRD Wong, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, no, Silvers makes that fight joke.
Why is that a vanilla Swamp Small?
Apparently we've gone back to the days of V29 when there was a higher likelihood of the Swamp Small being in Swamp.
So, I guess we're clearing Swamp now.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone expected that one.
I definitely would not. Yeah, for anybody who's unaware, old versions of the randomizer for key sanity mode, there was a slight, almost favoring of Swamp Palace having a vanilla small key there. It wasn't like a total, like, oh my gosh, it's over 50%. It was like, instead of it feeling completely random, it was what, like 10% of the time?
It's still a lower percentage than some of the Randomizer code discrepancies. I believe somebody found some fun ones there, too. And that's our third Skull Small sighting.
Yeah, we can kill Moth if we had a sword.
Why are those vines fireproof?
I don't know. But Fred continues to clear out checks. You know, both runners really making great progress here. It's just becoming a question of who's really going to find the swords to really push us into later stages and better clearing possibilities.
I mean, both runners have been doing effectively swordless, so it comes down to where is that first sword? Mostly to let us kill Aga, and actually Aga's not required because for PRD, but Skull Woods potentially. And PRD showing us Diver Down. People are placing bets on if there's going to be a sword in Swamp. I mean, there's 10 checks in Swamp. There could be a sword here.
Yeah, unfortunately, PRD does not have the Swamp Big Key at this point.
So hopefully for PRD's sake, that's not a key. Let's see. Did Fred set up a save scum on the Hyrule Castle key?
I did see somebody in chat say he already had it.
So
And
there's...
yeah, he's already got it.
I don't know where that was. But that means Fred can also go back for that Quake Medallion without fear, which means that we do not need to kill Aga 1.
Yay!
Are you as tired of Aga 1 as I am sometimes?
Yeah. I feel like we've seen quite a few Aga 1 requirements this week. Which, I mean, just law of large numbers. We've got, you know, as many teams and races as we have this week, so not surprising that it's going to happen.
And there are only 8 drop-downs and 7 items blocked by drop-downs.
We did just pick up the powder out of our diver down room.
And Powder, Magic Bat, I believe, is at the Houlihan drop, the fairy drop-down. Beautiful quick hammer hits on that ball and chain guard.
We got another Meyer Small.
I think that's our first one.
Oh yeah, it is our first. Whew.
Fred has not found Meyer either.
Yeah, this might incentivize PRD heading back to it.
I mean, that was the one in Zelda Cell, correct? He knows it's there.
Right. And everybody's favorite Argus, business, or menu Argus. I was going to say PowerPoint Argus.
This fight's fun without a sword, right?
I mean,
Fred's about
I love menuing.
Fred's gonna get the hilarious information right here.
Fred continuing to show us those memes.
Who do you think I learned them from?
Right. And we will get to see that Swamp Big Chest, so that is going to be a nice piece of information. Important one as well.
And there's a Meyer Small for PRD Wong. One that he gets to keep. And this is a Crystal Swamp Palace. I believe it puts us as 4 crystals known. Swamp, Ice, and then the red crystals at Meyer TR.
Yeah, picture is starting to come together nicely.
And Fred's teammate telling us that Fred has been doing these bombs since the spring 2017 tournament. So... at this point, we're mostly down to, where's our swords?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to find one soon, right? I feel like we've seen a lot for no swords at this point. For 75 minutes.
I mean, you and I both have horror stories of late sword seeds, too, so...
Of course. I mean, it's not unheard of, but, like, I don't feel like our runners have, like, skipped anything or missed something egregious yet. It's just been, there's not been a sword available.
I'm trying to think of what our density is that we haven't checked. I'm coming down to left side mire and GT climb.
Yeah, not exactly two of anybody's favorite things. At least for PRD, I feel like having right side GT also might incentivize the climb a bit.
No one's done the mire area.
And that's the other piece, is we have not really had the flute to there.
Why haven't we checked the mire area, actually?
Maybe you're hoping for that sword to make it so you can open up mire?
And here's a magic bat check. That's not it.
Money's good, but, you know, we've had plenty, and PRD did also check Zora, so it's not like we need much at this point for anything.
I think our only major price investment at this point is the 100 bombs for Big Bomb.
Yeah.
Purple chest, potentially.
Could be getting also some of the Skull Woods checks. Maybe wants to get that back of Skull Woods entrance. Nope. Looks like you were right.
GT also is in play.
True.
What was here? Might have been a just forgotten mark. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen an entrance not get marked.
Yeah.
I mean...
And you might be right. Stopping here for a potion or two, this could be gearing up for the GT climb. But Fred into menu Argus now.
Chat saying he's not happy with this, which I could believe.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the boss fights, I think even Fighter Sword, where it's slow, getting the double spins, you still prefer that to having to move forth. Especially with this being, you know, we're so used to quick swap now, and this is just so counter to what all of us want to do anymore.
I mean, if I've done Argus before, where I lucked out into not having a boomerang, which meant I could quick swap between hookshot and silvers before.
That's not a terrible way to do it.
It's still not fun.
But nice fire rod kill from Fred.
Which gives Fred his second crystal.
Yeah, I see it brought up in chat. What is PRD's sprite? I am not familiar with this one either.
I have no idea. Oh, that hard hat beetle. to answer question in chat, no, this isn't supposed to be swordless. We just haven't found one yet. There's 4 of them in the item pool.
Yeah, they all exist. We just can't seem to ever get to them. Not for lack of trying.
We've been looking. Everywhere.
I mean, we've seen like a little bit of almost every at this point. We're still missing some dungeons, but
most notably, we don't know where Pod is.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Eastern and Desert. We haven't seen Hera yet. We haven't seen Pod. We've seen most of Skull. We've seen Thieves. We've seen Meyer and TR and GT. We really are just looking for Pod and Hera.
I mean, if it were me, I'd be wondering where Pod is right now. We have 4 keys.
Yeah, that's a lot of access at this point.
Is a lot of access that we don't have access to.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting an ice play.
Yeah, so this will tie up the crystal count. So it's really a question of, where are we... That's the full coin set for Fred now.
He completed his coin collection.
And PRD has a little bit better equipment for this play into ice.
Most notably has a hook shot.
Yeah, that does make this a lot easier to get through.
Just for that room alone.
Yep. I mean, especially if you don't have the... if you're not going to pull off the bomb kill of the Pen Gators. We are unable to kill Trinex yet. We are missing a big key.
Yeah. We unfortunately do need that big key because this is one of the 2 dungeons with 2 big key doors. The Turtle Rock, the other being Eastern Palace. I think GT has a 2nd key door up by Aga as well, now I'm thinking about it. Fred is giving us our Meyer check.
Yeah, and given that I think we've seen pretty much all the entrances at this point that we had available. And Fred was going to check the medallion. I didn't get to take a good look at it, but...
That was a Quake medallion, so that Quake in the back of Escape is required for that entrance.
But we did find Pod in the Meyer shed.
14 checks. Maybe there's a sword here.
I mean, at this point, if there wasn't, I'd be shocked. Because honestly, we don't have much that we haven't seen.
This is a crystal pod as well. That change in 3.0.10 is a fantastic quality of life change, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
I believe you and I have had discussion on this privately before, but what is your stance on use of keys in this dungeon? There's a sword.
Yeah.
And I'd bomb that check right there too.
Yep. So in this case, I think I'm skipping vanilla big key chest. I will generally do open the front door for convenience at this point, and I will do harmless hellway. I prefer to do harmless hellway. I always feel it's the harder entrance or the harder chest to get back to in terms of a time commitment. So I just prefer to do harmless hellway if I have 4 keys. Does that mean I always do it? No, there's definitely been a couple of occasions where I have had, 4 keys and have gone through the right side multiple times to full clear a dungeon, but I think we've all had times we've broken our own rules.
Meanwhile, Cold Stare. Let's see how PRD's Cold Stare fight goes. That's a good start. These splashes are crazy.
Yeah, really nice splash damage. And just able to use the fire rod for the whole fight.
And Fred showing one of my favorite tricks with the King of Samaria, what some people refer to as the Pog clip, clipping straight through that block. I believe the actual trick is called extended auto stairs, but don't ask me how it works, even though I am the one who plays glitches. I don't understand how half of them work.
They just do, and that's all you care.
Pretty much.
And yep, Fred is going to go with that strategy, going for the harmless hellway. As we get a shovel.
Can you dig it?
I can dig a few things, but, you know, there's only one square I care to dig.
That is a 6-key locked shovel.
It is.
I don't like that.
And really, I don't think, besides that sword, we really haven't found anything really locked by the 4 keys.
The sword's locked by 1.
Yeah.
Fred setting up a death warp on the nicest enemies in the game for death warping.
Yeah, pretty much the Kadangos are treated almost as trap damage. 1 heart for their fire and themselves at all times.
So, other than the sword, we found nothing in pod, but I wouldn't call a sword nothing either.
No, not at this point. There is our luck fairy on my right.
This means Fred gets to open this entrance with that Quake Medallion. Mini Moldrum Cave.
A really nice entrance to find for sure.
5 items. Some runners will think there has to be a sword here, right?
Oh yeah, at this point.
Nothing in Misery Mire. And so far, not really much of... Oh, there's a sword. There's 2 swords. Fred's about to get tempered.
Yeah, so that means Misery Mire has 3 of our swords.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly combat went from, how do we do this with no swords, to, oh, I have 3 swords, everything dies. So how many bombs does Fred expend here? Also, Quake turns them all into onions.
I mean, I'd drop bombs just for that. Especially when you pull 2 sets of bombs.
The answer is 2. Poor NPC, although, to be honest, he's been hoarding swords. He deserves them.
I mean, does he deserve them, or do the chests at that point?
I don't know. It's funny here, he's been hoarding swords, they deserve it, coming from the player here who likes swordless.
So Hera is a pendant as well. So we just need to know 1 more. But we're going to get that quick kill of Mothula now.
So, here's a question. Desert or Thieves?
I feel like we're going to see Fred do that quickly with the desert play. You know,
I could see it too.
I feel like Fred is starting to look at this as almost transitioning to the late game stages and going, I need to clear dungeons that I can.
I mean, those swords have been available since basically for the past half hour since we got the Titansmith.
Yeah.
And some runners are known to just gun for the Mire area as soon as they get access. So Fred might feel a little behind having found them there.
Although there's our map now for Thieves Town specifically, so Maybe we won't even have to gamble. We'll just check it.
I'd almost say it's a better idea to check it, just so we know if it's worth. Because if you know it's crystal thieves, you go back in for the silvers. Although I don't think we're going to worry about that. Actually, we might be going for... Fred, why are we going this way?
Are we doing a pedestal check? I know that's a dirty word, but, like... We are.
This is a pedestal check. A pedestal check with a missing pendant dungeon.
Could be very informative.
It could be.
But it's not.
I hereby declare pedestal dead. You never see people go through those logs, so it's kind of fun to see someone go through those logs.
Yep.
You gotta be feeling pretty good on combat right now. 13 hearts red mail.
With a tempered sword.
With a tempered sword. And in the case of PRD Wong, silvers. Have we checked the map?
Not yet.
Are we going to check the map?
I'm really not sure, because I thought that would be the, like, as soon as you get into Dark World, isn't that the time to do it?
Because I think Fred knows most of his crystal information right now.
Yeah, Fred currently has a slight advantage in the crystal department at 3-2, but this race is still really close. I mean, PRD having the silvers is a nice little bonus, but could also be almost a detriment depending on if desert's required.
That is the biggest question at stake here is, do we need that desert small key? And if so, that's a decent advantage to Fred unless we find it soon.
And is this going to be a GT climb with Jeremiah?
That's a mirror blocked by 6 keys in Palace of Darkness.
Okay, so that's huge, but I do love the fact that we're getting the Jeremiah GT climb.
Thank you, Fred.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Jeremiah go on such a journey.
It's a big moment for Jeremiah. We have to show him that he's a mature frog to go up the tower with us.
To boldly go where no frog has gone before.
That was a really convenient full magic drop. Although it doesn't particularly matter because we do have a tempered sword. So, GT here is a decent gamble because I believe we've confirmed the fairy drop in the pyramid. Unless I'm mistaken and it's Lumberjack Ledge.
Yeah, and unfortunately I missed those entrances early, so I'm not sure what it is for sure.
Chat pointing out, this is going to be a fantastic set of rooms for lag. Just having that extra ancilla value from a follower.
Yeah.
You saw it with that laser shot right there, too.
Yep.
And PRD following that mirror to find out what's here. It can't be a Desert Small unless this is a connector here somehow. No, there's a Pod Small. But it could be the Pod Big Key somewhere in the area.
But really, on the worthless scale, just 25 rupees.
45 if we include the 20 down on Lumberjack. Not Lumberjack, Desert Ledge.
Right.
I'm mixing up my ledges today. We have a lot of them.
Yes, we do.
Not a lot behind the mirror.
Yeah, nothing really important yet, although that is the access that you had mentioned earlier. We just hadn't had any access to top of the mountain. We have it now.
But what else could we possibly want to find?
Hera?
Maybe. I mean, GT pointed us at Hera by throwing both keys at us.
And there's that desert small.
That's... If Desert's the crystal, that is not good for PRD.
Yeah, I think the one advantage for PRD at this point is just the fact that he has the mirror already.
And as per normal Fred behavior, we get bombs on the Moldorm's last gift check. And PRD gets an unfortunate dead rock in front of Hera.
Yeah, just barely keeping him out.
This is an item.
Yeah, I mean, we're really just missing keys at this point, so you really got to think, like, we're going to find something soon.
Unfortunately, took a hit on that Aga Phase 1, and we are at no hits so far because this Aga has been slightly rude to Fred.
Yeah, a couple of blue balls really screwing up any plans he may have of hitting him. And now
and Wind of Shadow. But that was a very well executed triple.
Yes, it was.
So we have not found much of anything on the mountain.
PRD getting a little lucky here, finding that Turtle Rock is ether, so... Oh, wait, we already knew that. Sorry.
Yeah, we knew that. I don't know if PRD knew it, but Fred knew it. And we're getting a drop. I think I may have miscounted my... This is a Lumberjack check.
And that's another sword. So we went about 10 minutes between first and fourth sword. Bravo, game. Bravo.
Thank you, game. You have jokes today, game. So, top of the mountain gave us nothing.
Yeah.
That mirror led to nothing.
At least not yet. But I like this play from PRD, saying, I know where Meyer is. Let's just go to Meyer.
Fred wants those silvers back.
Yeah. Understandably.
He has known about that bow for an hour and like 10 minutes now, at least.
Yeah, and this is a huge advantage for PRD, just knowing that Meyer is here right now, able to make this play, finish the Meyer checks. We didn't have fire our first time, so this is just the fire checks and Vidi.
And it's a pretty free Vitreous fight, too.
Yeah.
I guess this leaves... We need to know if that desert's required or not.
Yeah, that'll be a big time investment if it is for PRD later. unfortunately, wanting to keep those silvers or that first bow at the time. It's interesting because that means that the bow that PRD found first, or the one that he had kept first, was actually bow locked.
It was, because it's behind the top of Ganon's tower. And Fred's going to answer that question in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, worthwhile play at this point. Let's knock out Lanmo.
This is the best information we can get.
And really, between this desert clear and the mire clear, I feel like we're going to get something of importance on one of these sides. Like, one of these items, I feel like is going to be a big key to something. I almost believe at this point we're going to get a Thieves Town big.
It'd be funny if we got from, say, Crystal Landmola. Because that was a pendant Thieves big. And it's still one of the most dense checks we have.
Yeah.
And nice triple silver. Is that the TR big key? And that is an unrequired desert.
We had 3 pendants in Light World tonight.
In Light World dungeons, anyways.
Yeah.
I believe Eastern's in the Dark World, specifically. And, we still don't know.
And as chat points out, or as Ike points out in chat...
There's the Thieves big.
Oh, wow. So both bosses having required items. And yeah, PRD is going to have to climb GT tonight.
And the big problem is, that's going to take him away from... Ooh. That Thieves big just hurt PRD even more than us finding TR big key. Because now, he'll know... Once he finishes Thieves, he will know Desert's a pendant.
Yeah, and this could definitely remove the incentive to worry about the Desert Small Key.
So, most entertainingly, it is a 7 Crystal Dark World dungeons.
Now, what entrances do we have left, by the way, for Hera?
To my knowledge, Pyramid Fairy and Ganon's Tower.
Did we ever see Light Light Bumper? Or Left Race Game?
Those are still in play, I believe, yes.
So we've still got a few entrances where Hera could be. But yeah, we are running a bit low. And I think we also would have access to the Mimic Cave entrance.
So...
But yeah, I mean, as you said, I think at this point, we know that the Thieves Big is in logic completely, because Meyer does not really require much, as we get another small key out of the big chest.
Why is that its own dungeon?
But like, because of how in logic this Thieves Town clear is, I feel like we're going to get something that's just going to further remove PRD from going to GT climb. Like, that TR big does not lock anything unless we eventually need to beat or to open up the Pyramid Fairy. And really at this point, like, the one thing that's helping PRD in that sense is just, when does Fred find Meyer?
It's going to be a bit for Fred, because he opted to skip that mirror check. Excuse me, the Western exit.
Yeah.
Which is completely in logic.
Exactly. Still nothing out of Thieves, though.
Did PRD ever come back for this? Nope. So, what does that leave for information? This is a Spike Cave play right here. And I think the worst thing PRD could find right now is a pod big key to take him even further away from GT.
Yeah. But I wonder if, he might be incentivized to actually make the look, continue to look for Hera on the mirror checks.
I mean, the only benefit to Ganon's Tower right now, well, it was a pod key.
Just not a big one.
The only incentive for GT right now for PRD is GT is... Let's see, there's 4 there. There's 4 up top. 9 checks. So it is a fairly item-dense play.
But PRD back to Turtle Rock. Hadn't checked the front previously, so I think this is a good play.
I would agree. He was a bunny when he was last in this area.
And we're getting Fairy Ascension Cave over on Fred's side.
I don't remember where this goes. Because he found it earlier. I want to say it was a Dark World entrance. Ooh, this is Floating Island access, I believe. And PRD completes his coin collection.
Yeah, and as chat points out, we hadn't seen Bombo's tablet yet, so this is going to be actually a play from PRD that we haven't gotten to see yet. So how important is this mirror?
I mean, the only item of necessity we need at this point is a pod big key between the 2 runners. And if it's here, it would have been a double dip pod forced, and Fred is going to find his access to Meyer.
Not taking advantage of the bonk, but, not a slow process there to kill a couple of pokies with Gold Sword.
It's like it does a lot of damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fred just not using that shovel. Kind of forgetting about it.
Or might be choosing not to follow it because of key logic.
Or that.
But here's a Meyer play. And we have another mirror check with a compass. I know we've seen every mirror blocked exit, so we will be seeing the access to race game now. Because that's just up here. If you don't find anything, does PRD do GT now?
I mean, you're right there. I feel like it's a good play at this point.
As I said earlier, 9 items.
Don't really think we have many better plays on PRD's side.
Apparently PRD thinks so. PRD wants Mimic Ledge.
I don't disagree with that check.
It is in logic. We do have all of the small keys now.
Yep. But that's not the answer.
I don't remember where the... What's our big key count at? Big key for... We have a 50-50 on where big key is. There's a big key on Spec Rock Cave.
And hey, we found Hera. And unfortunately for PRD, like, this is just gonna further send him away from GT Climb.
Mm-hmm. And Fred is slowly catching up behind them. So unless this pendant dive has a big key for Palace of Darkness, it's... What he has is slowly diminishing. Because Fred only needs that pod big key at this point. Because he'll be getting he'll be getting his Thieves big key off of Vitreous. And Moldrum goes down. And you have to do basement at this point. There's no better time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see when you want to go back.
If you don't go back, you last locate it. And to answer your question, Chad, this is a mirror-locked Tower of Hera.
Yes,
But
it is.
that's not a logical concern, I believe, because PRD is listed to have all 6 keys. In actuality, he has all GT keys as well, so... I was going to say, in actuality, this check could also be considered out of logic by GT key logic, but with all GT smalls, this is logical.
Yeah, we're starting to put together, or at least have all the logical pieces.
And there was nothing here.
So really, Mirror not helping us in this one.
I guess this leaves the question, where is the pod big?
I mean, I'm trying to think of what we actually have left.
There is a big key just visible at Spectral Rock Cave with the item entrance missing.
I think we might need that Pyramid Fairy.
We have not... There is a connector to the top of Bumper. We've seen it. And PRD's checking Graveyard Ledge.
I mean, this is a good check as well. And it's our library.
Who would put a library there? It's hard to get to.
And the other thing chat's saying is we might have a vanilla pod big.
I'd rather not think about that.
It's not a great location for it.
And Fred gets closer and closer to the
Bomb
pod
NPC
keys.
percent? Oh.
And also, yes, bomb NPC percent. I wonder if anybody's thought about trying that for a run or something. Ooh. Ooh. PRD left the purple chest, and I think he does have his mirror portal, so he can go back and get it. And it's just sitting there.
Meanwhile, Fred is going through Thieves Town at this point.
I mean, Thieves Town Big was your last progression item.
Yep, follow the progression for sure. And it is not purple chest.
I wish I remembered what the connector was to get you to... Ooh, was it one of these dark rooms, actually? I think this... No? We're in this area. Is this the GT climb that PRD needs to do?
I mean, for PRD, this is the densest play he has left.
By a significant amount.
Yeah, and for PRD, you know, we're 2 keys from go. So I like this, you know, saying, you know what, I think I'm going to get the key I need here.
Unfortunately...
He will, just not the one he thinks it is.
Except he... Hopefully he follows it. On the bright side, he'll get his golden sword. So stealing the key in this seed was actually a detriment.
Yeah, just slightly.
Combat feels really, really good in the sea right now. You have golden sword, red mail, silver arrows, 17 hearts.
I mean, what else do you want? Just go mode, right?
Personally, I want a pod big key.
Yeah. And I mean, it's looking more and more likely that you're right, that it's Spec Rock. And even if it's not, like, if that's our Eastern big key, then all that does is just send me back to Eastern.
Yeah. I love that it's our bow-locked dungeons that have big keys missing right now. Especially where the bow has been such a significant item in this seed.
Yeah.
Excellent blind fight from Fred. And unfortunately, PRD can't outdo Fred. He doesn't have a way to take the frog up the tower with him.
I mean, maybe we need to take a purple chest up there sometime. I don't know.
He already did the purple chest, though.
Oh, wait,
He'd
the
have to
purple
go...
chest can't go anyway.
Yeah, that too. I forgot about that. Bingo players, there's your new bingo objective to think about. Take Jeremiah up the tower with you.
Only problem is I think you would have to almost plando that Jeremiah's not required.
Eh, probably. Just do vanilla swords.
So, Fred is heading back to pod at this point, so we're going to get that vanilla big key check.
We are. And it's the only item he can get here. So, it just add to the strange vanilla keys of this seed to go with the swamp small. And if it's here, he is in go mode. It's not. Here's another question, since we have some really awkward key awkward single item checks available for PRD. How long does Swamp Palace Big Chest stay on your mind?
What I will say is that the fact that my opponent's not done, and knowing where the Swamp Small was, or the Swamp Big was, maybe it tells me it wasn't the required item that it could have been. Maybe. Depends on, like, it's hard to gauge just because of how hard it is to kind of see how your opponent does a cross keys seed, because it's just too off the wall at times. But maybe you look at it and you go, it's something they didn't check either, because I can see how they'd be done if it was.
It also depends on if you look at the race room. A lot of racers don't.
True.
Aga being just as rude to PRD here. This Aga pattern is terrible.
Yeah, sometimes you can get those nice, like, 1-2 cycle or 3 cycle Aga 2s, and sometimes it's just not your day.
I mean, I saw, to add to the, you can have those sometimes. I recently saw a restream where somebody got 2 straight vertical lines of Aga lineups for a double triple for free. So sometimes you just get some crazy ones. Fortunately for PRD here, Fred's going through the density route of your mirror checks, which starts with Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's a great set of plays from his standpoint, so I don't disagree. But at this point, we're really just coming down to PRD has to go beat Desert and then TR and still find the pod big. Fred really just looking for a pod big, but I don't see Fred really skipping anything that PRD's already done as well. Like, Fred's gonna find Hera and probably full clear it as well.
Probably. And the good news is PRD is going straight for Landmo. But that was also his last progression he got. He has nothing else pointing at things. Which means I think our runners have to locate that Spec Rock entrance at this point.
And it's just looking more and more likely. I mean, we're still a small key for TR from it, but Pyramid Fairy is like the big bomb.
It's not an awful big bomb trip. You navigate to it from the pod area, mirror in front of it because it's at Light World Eastern Palace Ferry, and then go back through your portal and go to the pyramid.
Yeah, that's not a terrible one, but we'll see how soon that happens.
It's more likely for PRD than it is for Fred at this exact second.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, for PRD, he's going to go beat Turtle Rock next. And right after that, that's your 5-6 crystals, and you go, I've got 5-6 crystals, maybe I need to follow that up. Because he's also running out of entrances.
For one, Turtle Rock is such an easy check to get to. Do you take the time to go to Crystal Roller from here?
Apparently you do.
I think it's slightly faster than navigating to it from Big Chest anyways.
Yeah. Especially when you already have to kill Trinex.
Yeah, Fred is giving us his Hera clear. Chat reminding us that if we find Eastern Big Key, Saha's on the table as well.
Yeah, Eastern Big Key is locking 3 items. That is a likely candidate for that Spec Rock Big Key.
Excellent Trinex fight from PRD.
Yeah, we saw a good one from Fred as well, so this has been 2 excellent 0 cycles.
Yeah. Just excellent gameplay in general we're seeing today.
And
So
apparently our runners have something against worms.
You mean since we just saw 2 of them go down simultaneously?
Yeah, and we also saw Fred after taking care of Moldorm just saying, I don't want a pendant. Goodbye.
He already knows what's on pedestal. Because he went and checked it earlier.
Yeah, it's a really heads-up play from Fred there.
And we're getting that big bomb pickup from PRD. I probably would have gone from the pod entrance and mirrored, but we have a flute, we can walk it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And we're running on 2 hours, 10 minutes here. And this is late in the evening, so for some of these runners. So a little bit of late race fatigue is expected.
Yeah, there's definitely comes a point where you're just like, where is it? Where is it? You know, you're just kind of like, what did I miss?
Fred going for those desert checks now. PRD using the hook shot onto the fence to give himself a dash speed there. Very nicely done.
Yeah, really effective. And here we go, moment of truth. Pyramid Fairy is nothing.
So we have an entrance that leads us to Bumper Cave. I don't remember where it is. PRD's checking floating. Because this is our floating island check.
Right. We are just looking for a pod big still. That's all it is. We just don't know where. Our runners are both scrambling for it. We are getting the mushroom check on Fred's side. And yeah, we are scrambling.
Did we ever get a visual check on floating island? It's a small key. There's the Turtle Rock small key to put. That's not even the 3rd TR small for 4th TR small for PRD, is it? No, it isn't.
Yeah, because PRD still hasn't gone and pulled big chest of a TR.
Right. I forgot about that key. Where's our connector to Bumper Ledge? Is it Hyrule Castle?
It might be.
Based on PRD's quick swap, I think we're about to get our check here. Is this our Spectacle Rock Cave? It is. Now, is this the big key we need? Or is it the eastern one that we'll need if it's not? Because I'm pretty sure we're out of checks at this point. The answer is Eastern Palace!
Well, we're still on a hunt, but we've got a clue.
How much do you like 100%ing a seed?
I mean, knowing I wouldn't have had to touch Hera, it's unfortunate. Knowing I would have had to clear desert, I feel a little better about clearing desert as a pendant. Hera doesn't feel great. If Eastern has the big key, you know, I might look and say Eastern probably would have been my last guess eventually.
Yeah. And Fred gets his big 20 off of the purple chest. We'll be checking Bombo's medallion here. And PRD will hopefully find us something in Eastern.
I mean, do we have that much left at this moment?
I'd rather it be in Eastern than on Saha.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've got these two checks in Eastern, Saha and Ped for PRD, and we know Ped's not the answer. So it really is just these three checks.
So, and there's nothing left it can chain to, is there?
I don't think
We've
so.
had all the fetch quests. The only fetch quest left is the pendant on this.
And I gotta point this one out, and I know this is kind of I don't want to bring a contentious topic too heavy here, but think of the power of a hover in this seed to pull the Eastern big there. Like, you could have done this seed without a mirror.
Yeah. That would have been a fantastic use of hovering, and I enjoyed seeing it.
Yeah. Because realistically, that allows you to single dip Eastern maybe a little earlier.
But it's a very risky hover, too.
True.
And there it is. 2 required pendant bosses. A required GT climb. This is a Cross Keys Seed classic, isn't it?
Yep. And Fred going for the big bomb, so...
And chat pointed out that this doesn't look like a very fast seed. It's also worth noting that with a almost full clear of this game, PRD Wong is in go mode at 213 with 1 crystal to get.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think if you're in that 215 to 230 range, that's not usually a bad time for cross keys.
Especially a full clear one.
Yeah. If you can full clear a cross keys in about 2.5 hours, you're making good time.
Like I've said, these are some of the top runners of this game. This is the Invitational, and they are showing what it takes to be here. If you're Fred, where do you go now?
I don't even know.
I think you have to do the Hyrule Castle trip now.
But does he know that's on the list still?
It looks like we're getting our Mimic Cave check. And he knows it's on the list because he's found Bumper Cave. He was the first one I saw get Bumper Cave entrance, so... Try to remember where this entrance leads. This leads you to Death Mountain Light World. Ooh. I wonder if Fred has a miss mark.
Yeah, that could
Based
be
on
the case at this point.
based on this extended pause, this could be a bad thing.
Yeah, this is always one of those moments. All cross key players know this feeling. You open up their menu and you have that just, what am I looking for? What did I forget? And as Walkix points out in chat, Fred tracks by hand. So, this is there are a lot of programs that allow you to fade, and
he doesn't use any of them.
Yeah, and everybody's got. I have always been a believer in there is not a right way to track this mode. It is really what works best for you.
That is the right way to track it. The way that works.
You talk to everybody in the community who actually plays cross keys and ask them what tracker you use, and you will get double-digit answers.
And here's Ganon telling us about cheese. The good news is Fred is heading in the right direction now. And PRD showing us some dash pokes on phase 2.
Nicely done. And we're into phase 3 as Fred is just hitting the bumper ledge, and we'll be getting that Eastern Palace big key momentarily.
It's also, Charles pointing out another thing. This hour is not a friendly one for Fred either. So, to be this close, playing at a very late hour for him, shows you Fred is a very, very good player. And the pig goes down for PRD, so once he crosses this 1x3 bridge, get your GGs in chat for PRD Wong, and don't forget to track us.
Yeah, PRD finishing with a race time of 2:17.55, and on the plus side for don't forget to track us, that does mean they split this week with the Bomb Squad.
Flip Heel, also of Don't Forget to Track Us, point out that they're doing a good job keeping their split every week strategy going. And we are joined by PRD Wong. GG's.
Jeez, I guess.
What a seed!
Yeah, I lost track at the end. I kept worrying about the Desert Small and how I stole it just for the bow, which turned out to kind of be useless. So every time, from then on, every time I opened up a small key, I was like, "Desert, please give me the desert." So when I found it later and found out that it was required, I felt a little better. But then at that point, the chain was going so deep, I couldn't really gauge whether I was actually ahead or not. I just got so messed up at the end.
Yeah, I think one of the big differences kind of became you going after that shovel check so early. Fred, did get the shovel a little bit before you did out of the back of pod, but did not chase it. You did, and having the mirror kind of just allowed you to chain a lot of checks together a little sooner.
Yeah, it definitely felt good to find that. I almost didn't. Like, I almost fluted somewhere else, and I said, well, I mean, I'm as close as I'll ever get to the shovel check. I might as well do it. Wasn't really in logic at the time, so that's why I was like, but yeah, I guess it paid off.
And it took... Fred went through the mirror checks almost same route you did, which meant last locating bumper ledge.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't tell at that point because I thought it was very reasonable that you could have checked that entrance early on, and then so you would know that leads to another entrance. And you could prioritize that once you got mirror looking for a big key. It also crossed my mind, of course, that like I don't know if Fred can hover or not, but if you could do that, then definitely would have saved a lot of time.
Yeah, we actually did mention that. Definitely, this is a seed that a hover could have really helped a runner, just being able to not have to look for that spec rock entrance.
Yeah, it also felt really bad that I put off GT for a long time. I told myself a bunch of times, okay, let's go do GT. I had all 4 keys. Gotta just climb, and I had the 4 chests and compass room as well. And then I just kept finding excuses to do other stuff. And so by the time I went there, I figured, okay, I'm late here. And even when I found what was up there, the desert key or something.
Yeah, the desert small.
Yeah, I was like, I have no idea. It was kind of fairly demoralizing at the end.
But you managed to power through it and win this race for your team.
Yeah, trying to keep us in the race, I guess.
And Fred is currently en route to Helmosaur King. Chat also pointing out that the swords were terrible in this seed.
That also felt bad because I kept putting off the mire area because I wanted to find mirror and try to chain the whole area together. And so when I went there and I found it was like 2 swords right away, right? And I was like, oh, could have had this for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both of you really put off the mire area, so for as soon as you each had the mitts, you kind of just both avoided it for a little extra time.
And the fact there were 3 swords there was kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
Although I think Jesse and I's favorite moment in this entire seed was the Swamp Small.
I went I opened the chest and said, okay, I guess we're just doing it. That one felt a little better because I felt like I randomly put that off for a while, and so when I got there I had all the checks. I mean, I had all the equipment.
Yeah. The only thing you didn't have was the big key of Swamp, which has no logical implication, at least.
Yeah, it felt a little bit bad to find that kind of shortly afterwards, but I figured, oh well. Probably Fred would be in the same position, I thought.
And Fred drops into the Ganon fight. And this is such an easy Ganon fight. Gold sword, red mail, 18 hearts and silvers. What more could you want?
I mean, I would like 20 hearts.
Do you, though?
I don't know. Do you feel bad ever getting 20 hearts?
Actually, yes, I do. My heart count tends to be my gauge for how much of a slog the seed is. I like to finish in the 11 to 12 range.
And how many times does that happen for you in cross keys?
Twice.
But Fred into phase 4 now. There's that first silver arrow. Having to play a little bit of dodge with the fire bats, but setting up for a nice double or triple here.
Ooh, just a little off on the timing for triple, but does get the 4th silver arrow. And once Fred has crossed this 1x3 bridge that spawns, you can get your GGs in the chat for Fred, who will be finishing with an official time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 21 seconds.
GG's to Fred.
And I would not expect Fred to join us because it is almost 2 in the morning for him.
Oh yeah, it is.
So,
Oh, GG's to him.
which is unfortunate because we want to ask about taking the frog up Ganon's tower.
That was an adventure.
Yeah, PRD. He took Jeremiah up the tower with him. Yeah, and you can tell from... He is fast-forwarding Krez. He's setting up so he can wrap up and get himself to bed. So... Yeah. So everyone get your GGs in chat. 4-hour runners today. PRD Wong and Fred Coughlin. Please, give them follows. They do a lot of good stuff for this community. I mean, Fred's contributions to the randomizer community are not small, are they? Also, make sure to... I'd like to give a shout-out to our crew today. Akir, giving us some tracking today. And my co-com joining me 20 minutes in, Radical Sniper. Thank you for joining me, because I was willing to solo commentate Cross Keys, but I'm always happy to have a friend join me.
I was going to say, solo common Cross Keys is an adventure, and it was a pleasure to join you tonight. You know, just finishing up a race on my end and being able to jump in was good.
So yeah, big shout-outs to the crew. And if you like what you see, make sure to follow the SpeedGaming family of channels, 1 through 6. And if you happen to enjoy other language, we have several for other languages as well.
And if you enjoy Cross Keys, we still have 2 days left of this week of League.
Uh-huh. And there's some big matches.
Yeah, the weekend is always one of those super busy times. So do not be surprised to see a lot of Cross Keys still to go this weekend.
Yeah, and just from the... for early matches tomorrow for SpeedGaming, we do have a 3:10 race over on SpeedGaming 5 tomorrow. Did you check your boot versus I like big boots? Werfjig versus Gans Gone Wild. That is a race I wouldn't want to miss. What about you?
Definitely not. We've got some great ones. That one's already on the schedule. We do have one coming up on the ALTTPR League with Team Go versus Oofstavar Ausop Nichts, Scoopel versus Divisines. And that's also at 3:10. 5:10 tomorrow on SG4. We have Le French Canadiens versus Crosswords Key Sanity. Rywek versus Paradox. And then we also have Swirly Coin Brewing versus Shack Tools Digging Game. Jejo versus Hitaka on SpeedGaming 3 tomorrow night at 9:10. That does appear to be the schedule for Invitational League. I am not sure if we have anything scheduled yet for the Open League. We do have a lot of games scheduled, but I do not see any particular setup for a restream at this time.
At this time, those are taken on volunteer basis for the broadcasting. So it depends on what time people have tomorrow on the for just to volunteer. So,
but yes, I do believe that's going to do it for us here.
I believe so. So, once again, GG's PRD, and congratulations on your win. Do you have any final thoughts before we get wrapping up here?
No, but everyone just make sure to keep watching all them races. They're all exciting.
Well, with that, Jesse, you have any final thoughts?
I don't. I think we've covered quite a bit, so I will say goodnight and leave it to you now, Zeke.
Of course. I will also say, have a good night, everybody, and stay tuned for further racing.